Hello and welcome to this episode of the Corporate Escapists TV show and podcast. I'm your host, Christine Innes. Now, I am super delighted because I've already had a most amazing conversation with this beautiful soul, Debbie. Thank you so much for joining us, lovely.
Thank you for having me. Just wonderful to be here and to be on your show.
I'm so excited. We are going to be doing something very different and I love it because, like, as I said to you, I share everything with my audience. I think that's how I've been able to grow such a beautiful community. But before we get started, I'm going to hand it over to you to introduce yourself, and then we're going to dive in because we're going to do something pretty amazing today.
Thank you. Well, I was just thinking about how we connected. So maybe I'll just start there for a minute. So my name is Debbi Sluys, and I'm the founder of Dare to Declare. And we are both in a mutual Facebook group. And Christine had put out that she was looking for various people of influence to interview for her magazine. And one of them was Jack Canfield. And someone mutually known to both of us tagged me in it. And so then I reached out to Christine, or she reached out to me and said, how do you know Jack Canfield? And so that's really where the friendship and the connection began. Was I got to share my story with Christine about working backwards, how I was just interviewed by him in his home in California last November, 2021. And that happened because that manifested because I had put it out there that I wanted to do a big training with Jack Canfield. So I'm kind of working backwards here, but that was because I now do vision boards. So I was interviewed by Jack because my company does vision boards with clients, but I also now have an academy where I teach vision boards for people all over the world. And so that's sort of where I'm at right now, but I'm a mom of 4. I have 3 grandbabies. I'm in Ontario, Canada. I'm a personal development and empowerment coach. And as I said, I have an expertise in creating powerful vision boards.
You're amazing. Like, honestly, like the first time that we met, and it's so strange because when we realized that we actually do have a mutual friend that we both know and that I work with and you've worked with before. So I think the universe, I'm such a big believer, the universe brings people together at the right time. And, we've just had this amazing connection, and I'm super grateful to have you in my life and to even be here today to, I guess, share a little bit more what you do, and we can show people, because I have done vision boards and I love them. And we had a conversation and I said, well, I did my first electronic one, but I realized that the power of the physical, like of touching the photos and putting them up and really connecting to that, has been more powerful in the past. And you've been so gracious, and we're actually going to sort of go through and sort of give you a sneak peek of my next vision board as well. So that's exciting.
It's very exciting. I'm just so grateful because as we were, talking before we came on the recording, I said, are you open to that? And of course you said yes. So as I said, I've never done this before, but I think this will be really beneficial for anyone listening or watching, to hear a little bit about the coaching that I can offer to you and some of the things to do and what not to do to manifest, and just accelerate your manifestation to your vision.
Yeah. One thing I just want to, like, for people who are out there, because I know that, the word manifestation is widely used, but for me, I'd love to get your view on that. I believe that there's 3 steps to it. So first of all, you've got to dream it. You've got to be able to see it, feel it, sink into it. But the other thing is, like, to take the action. And a lot of people say, well, what's the action? And for me, it all starts with, how you speak to yourself, like, even the words that you say. And I catch myself out on it and that. And then that's when it all becomes reality. When you have those, 2 key steps, that becomes the reality of it. And then that's how it can all manifest. So what is your thoughts on manifestation before we dive into it?
Yeah, I think another word, I love how you just described that about the action. And I think many people forget that the law of attraction, what you were just talking about, how we attracted each other, definitely know the law of attraction was involved in that, but there's action embedded in that very word. So I like to think of it also as following your intuition. So that little voice, and like you said, listening to yourself is so key. But then following the guidance of that. So because very quickly we just, we'll dismiss it, we'll make up an excuse. I'm too tired, I'm too busy, it costs too much. And we're so focused on the how, where the vision has nothing to do with the how. The how is really embedded in a goal, but the vision really is, like you said, dreaming really big, which is the very beginning piece, is clearing space so that you can dream really big, that it seems a bit crazy that, people will say, well, that's not logical. That's not even sane. And, some of the most creative, wealthy people in the world were all considered that. They were considered to be a little bit mad. And and they came up with these extraordinary ideas. And as you said, you first think it, then you act on that intuition and the continual actions, which are then goals, and then declare it. So I like to think of it like dream, discover, declare. Those are my 3 steps.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it so much. And look, I can attest to the power of following intuition. So, I saw a magazine cover when I did a meditation in 2020, and I'm like, oh, that's hilarious, as if I'm going to be on the front cover. But it was no, I was guided that I had to start a magazine, and here we are 2 years later. So I do believe that we are never given a vision or a dream that we can't actually handle, and it's just about that right timing of when we need to implement it and when we've been able to take that action for it as well. So if you've got a dream and you see it, then it is meant for you. It's just when is the right time for you to do it.
For sure. And I'm excited that we can talk about one of the actions is to write it down. So you're 42% more likely for that dream to come to fruition, to manifest, if you simply write it down. But actually, if you're going to do what Christine's doing, which is creating a vision with actually using paper, discovering the photos and the images, that rate goes up to 78% more likely to manifest by simply adding images and declaring it.
Wow. It's incredible. Well, I'm excited to get started. I have as I said to Debbie before, that I've got a couple of more images that I still want to bring into the vision board, and then we're going to have a consultation, and this is one of the things that I love, so you can actually help guide me through the right placement and all of that as well. But we're going to talk about the images and really sink into my feelings, and then you're going to coach me through all of that as well. So let's get started. So now I've got some hot tea here, so I'll just let everyone know that I have been under the weather. This is my second day just back with the voice, so I might take a couple of sips. So just wanted to let everybody know. So with it, so I'm going to share a photo. So here we go, nice and raw. So this, look, I love animals. I absolutely love them. My puppy is my baby now. And this photo just makes me so happy because I'm in nature. I'm surrounded by beautiful animals. And it's just me not overthinking anything. Like, it's not at a styled photo shoot or, people telling me how to act or how to pose or anything like that. It's just me being myself. And as I said, being surrounded by nature and animals, it really, I love it. I'm very blessed that at the moment I'm at my parents' place and we're on acreage, so I have animals all around me. But it's, like I just love the feeling that animals give me.
Yeah. And so that would be the first tip, is that for any viewer that's considering creating a vision board, is to have a photo of yourself in a prominent place on your vision board. However, I would just put, again, some of these boundaries around that photo, that it be the main criteria being that it be from a happy time. So I had times in my life where I literally had a smile pasted on my face, but on the inside I was crying. And the photo might have been beautiful, but I know when I look at that photo, it invokes certain emotions and feelings that are, even on a subconscious level, like I wasn't in a good place. And I love that you just talked about all the things, where you were, how you were feeling with the animals in nature. I'd say you still do look stylish with your cute sunglasses on your head and that polka dot shirt, like it looks stylish, but the lighting is good. So what I'd also say is some women that are, ages 40, maybe 50 and up, they feel obligated to put a photo of themselves and their partner, a photo of themselves and their children. And sometimes for some of them, this is the main homework, even before they start a vision board, is to get a photo of just them. Because oftentimes women that are coming to create this, who are just doing it for the first time, they've always been behind the camera, or they shy away from the camera, or they're with a group of friends, or they're with the children. And so this is all about you. This is one of the highest forms of self-care, is to create a vision board. So it begins with a photo of yourself. So I think it's a really great place to start.
Yeah, and it is so true. Like, I mean, I'm in my mid-40s and it's actually very rare. I mean, look, I'm very fortunate. I have photo shoots for my business, but like I said, they're styled, like they're, you know, to make you look a certain way. But when I go back and have a look, there's very rare am I actually have a photo of myself, because I'm the one taking the photos. So I think that's a really interesting, you know, point, and something that we all need to really consider. And, you know, just find, where's your happy place? Like, that's where I always go. Where's your happy place? Like, go there. Like, my happy place is my beach, but I also love the animals and that as well. So I'm very fortunate to be blessed. So I'm going to share
I just want to add one more thing, if I may. So I know your readership seems to be, you know, men and women in corporate and business people, entrepreneurs. And so if you haven't done what Christine was talking about, that branded photo shoot, I would say, especially if you're just starting out, invest in that. And don't skimp on it. Don't have a friend do it. You know, someone that someone knows, someone. No, you know what I did? When I was starting my business, I asked the photographers in my town, who would you get to do your photos? And they actually sent me out of town, and I went to a photographer. And at that time I was just starting my business, and it was a big investment. It's like compared to other things I was spending money on. I have used those photos in the last 4 years. I mean, they have paid for themselves in just so many ways. But I also had it that photo, I don't know if you know this part of my story, but that photo was actually the first indicator of what I was going to do with the business. I actually was getting a photo shoot done. I was working on my website, but I wasn't quite sure what problem I was solving and the solution I was going to offer. And then when I saw my own image, I was so inspired by her. And I thought, oh, it was this future version of myself. So thinking about it also as your first vision, as your first image for your vision board, come as you will be. So allow the lens, allow the photographer to showcase you in your best light, and and to see what comes up for you with that.
Yeah, absolutely. At my first photo shoot, I remember I was sweating so much because I was so uncomfortable being in front of the camera. And then the second one, I actually paid even more to have a stylist for the shoot. And she pushed me out of my comfort zone, you know, like to wear certain things. Like, it was all stuff from my wardrobe, but just to, you know, mix and match. And I still love every single one of those photos now. I sit there and I'm like going, wow, like, you know, and then it's good then to sort of see where I've also come from over the last couple of years too. So it's, I highly recommend, if you're going into business, you've got to get a photo shoot done. So do that one. Alrighty, so I said the beach is my happy place, and I saw this photo and I just thought, oh, she's just in flow. She's just doing her own thing. You know, she's by the water, which is where I absolutely love. I try to get down to the beach at least twice a week and, you know, just sit and, you know, I will do a little bit of meditation. And for me also too, I know that yoga is good for me, but I haven't done it. So it's sort of like an inspiration of where I want to get to as well, and sort of the person that I want to embody from it as well.
I love that. I love everything that you shared and the order that you shared it in, because typically I have women that say to me, I want to lose weight. I, you know, want to change my body size, and they'll have just a thin person on the board, or, you know, but I love that you started with the beach, because it's really about, who do I get to be? And you get to be a beach person who does yoga on the beach. And, you know, it doesn't matter what size you are. It doesn't matter. It's about that feeling of, because you can smell the salt air, you can feel the sand, you can feel the wind, you can, you know, hear all the sounds of the beach. That's what's actually going to raise your vibration. Because if you're just focused, and you weren't, which I think is awesome, but if you're just focused on, you know, let's say, smaller size or whatever it is, women are never seem to be happy with, very few anyways that I meet are just happy with their body size and shape. But when you're focused on where you are and who you are, that's the magic. So well done. And so for anyone that's listening, so taking an example, take the role model from Christine and how she just presented that. And one other thing I would just say, when we do have our consult after, when she's got the board complete, I will ask her to declare in a way that it's already in her life. So right now she's just showing us the images. So you're not going to be privy to that. Well, maybe we will, but that declaration. But what I will ask her to do is to say, this is me, and I'm doing yoga on my favorite spot on the beach. And she's going to tell me the story as though that is her fully experiencing whatever is in that image.
Yeah.
Makes
I
sense?
love that. Yeah. Oh yes. I love it. I love it. So I literally cannot wait. Like getting goosebumps, like going, oh my goodness, like this is going to be my life. Like it's amazing. So I'm going to stop because otherwise I'll cry. So now this picture here. So look, I'm a beach person, and it is my dream to live in a house or an apartment that actually has, beach views, so that, I can sit up in the morning and I can, have a puppy there, and I can have my coffee and, just be energized by the surrounds, because it really does bring me serenity, and it also is my creative outlet too. So there's something about the water, the sand, like even like you said, the smell. I am at my most creative when I'm down by the water. So there's multiple times where I will, as I said, drive down and I will take my book and I will just sit and write. And that's how things come up for the business, that, personal things as well. So definitely my dream place is overlooking the water.
Lovely. I love how much detail is in there as well. Like I noticed is there fresh fruit on the coffee table there?
There is, there's lemons and there's fresh fruit, like water.
Just has this freshness.
And
you talked about nature, and I can really see the greenery, and also it feels like it's a modern style. So there's two schools of thought. If you can't find the exact image of what you're looking for, you can have something that represents the feeling. So that if it's modern that you're feeling, or like you have one that's up higher and it overlooks, then that's great. But try to be as specific as possible. The other thing that, I'm just giving some cautions here. I had a gentleman who his vision was to have a big house, and that's it. Like he's like, I want this big house. And I said, here's the thing, you will manifest that. And I said, and as soon as you open the door to it, you're not going to be satisfied. And he said, why? I said, because what are you going to do in that big empty house? So I want you to think about that balcony there with the fresh fruit, and look, who is enjoying it with you? Or maybe you are just enjoying it by yourself, but you're doing something. You're with a book, or you've got your laptop, or you're working, or maybe, because we're built for connection. We're built for a sense of belonging. So you want to think about what is going to fill the love that's going to fill that home. Otherwise it's just a house.
Yes.
And so I've had a number of clients tell me that, that mom saying, like, be careful what you wish for, because you might just get it. And they have put out what they wanted, but not with enough detail, or with the important detail. And so one gentleman, he wanted a big house, he wanted a fancy car, and he wanted lots of money in his business, and he got all of it, but he lost his marriage. He didn't include his wife in this dream, in this vision. And, I'm sure there's other reasons that fell apart, but I think it's so important to also have that as part of your bigger vision. Otherwise, it's just a cold, one-dimensional image. So to invoke all those feelings and emotions as you picture yourself sitting there with the breeze on your face on that beautiful balcony. I'm going to come and visit you there. I'm going to declare that right now.
Yes, definitely. Like, and it is really true. Like I do, like during my meditations, I can see, certain people in my life, and, how I'm interacting, and, all that sort of stuff. So Yeah, I love that. Like like more detail is better, because we want to be really, really clear of what we're putting out there. Otherwise, you're going to get it, and you're going to go, well, why am I not happy? It's because you haven't been that clear in your desires.
Yes, it is. It can be difficult to uncover what you really want, because for many of us, men and women, if again, as busy corporate people, you're taking care of others. And so you might know what your employees, your colleagues want, your parents want, your kids want. But what do you want? It's probably like that same question at Christmas. What do you want? Oh, I got everything. I don't need anything. We don't give ourselves a second thought for what we want. So this is your opportunity to get really clear on what you want. And the more clear you can be, the faster you will manifest.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I learned after like everything that happened and I sort of lost who I was, I actually had to give myself permission to actually ask those questions, because I think we go back to that sort of childlike sort of type behavior in ourselves. And it's sort of like, well, I actually give myself permission to dream. I give myself permission to ask for what I want, because most of the time, especially when you become a mom or, as an adult, you're always doing everything for everybody else. So if you find it hard to, ask for those things, just say, look, I actually giving myself permission. And it's sometimes just that one word, just to say, I give myself permission. It's amazing how it opens all up.
For sure. And again, I think you know this, but I'm a Christian. So, I mean, even if you want to speak in the spiritual realm, I believe that, we have this bigger plan that was predestined before we were born. And so by creating a vision and getting really clear on what you want, it's not like a toddler having a temper tantrum, like, I want this. It's actually quite the opposite. It's actually showing gratitude to our creator to say, thank you for this gift of life. And I'm going to expand and, up and down and deep, as wide as possible into this beautiful gift of life that you've given, and dream as big as I possibly can, holding loosely to the outcome. There's the other key. We haven't really talked about the receiving piece, but it's about asking for what you really want, which is actually a demonstration of gratitude, and then believing that it's possible, and then holding loosely to the outcome, to what is actually received. Because if you try to control the outcome, it will probably be smaller than what was actually sent your way. Because I've discovered what manifests is typically bigger and better, because I believe, like, again, God loves to surprise his children. And so that's been my experience.
Yeah, absolutely. The word surrender has been the biggest and hardest things for me too, actually, because I'm a people pleaser. I love, I don't want to say control, but it's like you want to sort of, have everything all nice and neat. But the word surrender, when I first heard it, I'm like going, oh, but no, but I want to control it. But the surrendering into it, to, like you said, to allow, because there is always going to be something bigger and better out there. And when you do surrender, when you open up, then you can fully receive. Whereas if you try to control so much, then you're sort of like going, well, actually are letting all the goodness come in. You just learn sort of like that little tiny little bit, whereas you can let this expanse mouth come in. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You're talking my language. I love it. I love it so much. So now I want to show you this photo. And so this is just beautiful. Like, I love color, and I mean, look, most people see me always in black, but to have color around me, what it does, it uplifts me. And this reminded me sort of like, the beach, the sun, all the different beautiful colors of the universe and the earth and all of that to come into it. But also too, it reminds me of love, and I'm a lover of love, and I, in my whole life, and I just want to bring in love. So this just sort of spoke to me as love.
So it's beautiful. And you don't need to know exactly, like we've been talking about getting specific, but you don't need to know exactly why you have something on your vision board, for sure. And if you're attracted to it in the way that you talked so passionately about it, put it on. However, again, I'm going to caution you, you only have so much real estate. So typically you can see my board behind me. I do 20 inches by 30 inches. That's, I wouldn't go smaller or much bigger. It's a good size, but you have to make intentional choices of how, like, what image do I actually want? I also recommend that the image not be smaller than the palm of your hand.
Yep.
So that you can see it from a distance. It's also a declaration. So for those two reasons, that it be significant enough that you can see it, and that you're declaring it. So I'm thinking that I wonder if there's another way that you could repurpose even those colors like that. You talked to me about your power word, so that we haven't talked about the single word for your year being abundance. And so I wonder if that could be the backdrop for your word, or, you know, that you could repurpose it in that way, or maybe mount another photo on it, or have it be an edge. I don't know. But I mean, you want to leave space enough for your images, but I love that, you know, you're wanting to have a few more images that you want to put on there as well, but you don't need to have a huge amount. I almost think, like, when I see collage or I see lots and lots of pictures, there's the scarcity, there's not enoughness, that value, that belief is coming out in a subconscious way, where I've just got to get as much on this board just in case, so that the universe can just send me, you know, hopefully it'll hit one of the marks. And so when we get to be intentional about, this is what I want, and be really specific, you're honoring your desires, and you're really saying to the universe, you know, it doesn't scare me. I'm bold in my declaration. So this is what I want.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yes. I love that. Love it. I love it so much. So yeah, that scarcity mindset, I think so many of us actually can sit into when it's, you know, I think as business owners too, we have that, and we can sit in there, and it's the whole, oh, well, there's only so many clients, or there's so many this, you know, but that's why I use the word abundance, because there's so much out there. You know, the universe gives us so much. So it's amazing. I think we've just dropped out. Okay, so we're back. So you've got to love technology. So so as I was like sort of, you know, talking about, you know, like, you know, we're going to probably use this one here, you know, and probably put my power word. So as I said, my power word is abundance. So it's not just all about money. It's about bringing in love. It's bringing in, you know, just beautiful friendships, and abundance for my business, abundance for my life. And I feel like I'm finally ready to say, now is my time. So it's taken a long time to get here. So it's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful. So I'm excited. So I'm going to show you one more photo. Actually, there's two more. So this one here, because it is my goal to travel. So I want to explore the world. I'm in a very fortunate position. Like, my son is all grown up. Like, I don't have to have children, you know, to worry. Well, I do worry about them, you know what it's like. But, you know, I can get to travel and, you know, meet amazing people, and my business is so portable. So it is now for me to travel all different places. And I love this image of this lady here. I feel like that's me, you know, just sort of soaking it in. And you know, I can be by myself and be okay. I can have other people around me and, you know, really enjoy all the different atmospheres. But I guess the biggest thing is that it's okay for me to travel alone, because I've always been very scared to do that.
You've touched on so many points. I hope that everyone's picking up on that, because I really felt that when you talked about, you know, there's me, I'm traveling alone. And I think a lot of people would have that. If you're not a regular business traveler, I find even like taking the airplane by myself a bit daunting, especially now with all the COVID restrictions. But, you know, looking at it from that carefree, you know, she just looks so sophisticated, and she's just enjoying, she's got, I think, a hat in her hand or her bag. And I'm really glad that you pointed that out, because what you could do on your vision board is just put a lot of different, like a beach here and, a European looking city. But again, you want to be either as specific as possible, maybe not either, like be as specific as possible. And what's the feeling? So imagining, like, I love that you talked about having people around you or walking the streets on your own, or, perhaps it's trying new food, and feeling safe. I love that you identified that you're not looking over your shoulder, not holding your bag close, but that you're feeling free and safe and open to explore and opening up. This is my time, new possibilities. So beautiful. I love how you described that travel photo.
And this is my favorite photo. Like, I'm a huge Melissa McCarthy fan, but when I saw this photo, I'm like, this is me, just, just flowing in life. It's, she's so carefree, and that's everything that I just want to envision, for myself. And, I love it how, it's just being in that moment, and yeah, just the being in flow. And I know that, it's a lot of people use it, but for me, it's just, let's just allow to see what happens. Like, where am I? The world, like, it's like the world's taking me. Where's it taking me? Just lead me where I need to go. So that, I love that image.
I do too. I thought it was you. And the other piece of it that I see is that she's very stylish. It's a beautiful dress, but she's out in a field in nature. So you can be both. You don't have to be, hiking boots and sweatpants, although if you want to. But I like that it's like this, both sides of you, like that nature loving person, like how you had that first picture where you had the animals all around you, but then you were wearing this cute shirt and shades. So that really embodies you and your life and who you get to be. And I also appreciate like the fabric. Do you notice how it's all billowy and flowy? So that you can almost feel the lightness on her body, that you can put yourself in that dress. And one of the meditations that I do during my in-person, or not the course that you got, the mini course, but the full one, is to actually, one of the provocations is, what are you wearing? And so just imagine, and I have people start with their feet. Like, what shoes you have on? Are they heels? Are they sandals? Are they closed toe dress shoes? Move up to your legs. Are you wearing pants, shorts, skirt? What's the fabric feel like against your legs? And then moving up to your torso. Is it fitted? Is it flowing? Is it long sleeve, short sleeve? Just notice, what's the color? Are you wearing accessories like a scarf, a hat? And then how do you feel in those clothes? And quite often people are surprised when, like you said, you have things come to you with a meditation. And oftentimes people have like a really surprising image. Like this one lady, she works at a very corporate company, a well-known company. And she said, I was wearing this flowing yellow dress, she said, with a big sun hat. She goes, that wouldn't be appropriate for work at all. And I said, oh, well, what do you take away from that? And she's like, that's my heart's desire, is to be dressed more like that, which means that perhaps I want to start looking at how I can invite more of that into my life. And so, it just gives some guidance as well to discover, what am I wearing for that future version of me, but how can I invite that even into today, into my present day living?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I've never, like, in corporate, I wore suits, and it was very corporate attire. And now, like, I wear a lot of jeans. But it was interesting on the weekend, getting dressed up and wearing a beautiful dress. And I'm like, oh, I really do love this. Like, I really do enjoy that. And when I saw that photo, I'm like, no, when I travel, I want to wear dresses. I want to, like, just, yeah, like you said, just allow the breeze to flow and everything. So it doing this process also has really invoked a lot more of dreams inside of me as well. So when I thought that I was very clear on sort of what I wanted, but going through and looking at these images, it's actually started to stir even more up in me, going, no, I actually want more. I actually want, this thing to happen, or I want, something else to happen. so it has actually allowed even more creativity to come into it. So I am super grateful, that you've given me this opportunity to even just sort of expand on, all the additional things that I wanted to bring into my life as well.
Beautiful. And in the course that you're taking, I referenced 7 life areas. And so I know you've highlighted a few of them with travel and like the leisure and health, but you might also want to consider spiritual. So what's your spiritual vision for your life? Is there an educational vision that you have? And I don't mean that in the conventional way, because I'm sure you're still doing lots of learning around business and around personal self-development. I mean, what have you always wanted to learn about? Perhaps it's painting or photography or a new language, to grow your own food, something like that. Yeah, so thinking about relationships, as you said, love, what does that look and feel like? So yeah, 7 areas. So you want to have a full, robust vision board. Sometimes people get really focused on just creating a goal, like a career board. Oh, and I actually just misspoke, but that reminded me of something I want to just clarify. There's a distinction between vision and goals. And so I just want to clarify that language. So as I said earlier, a vision is something that is a bit bonkers. It's people will look at you and think you're a bit crazy. And the qualifier is that you can't actually accomplish it yourself. So it's not like you can work harder, work on something you're already working on and you're like, oh, I know that's probably going to happen. Then you're not dreaming big enough. Goals then are the path towards that vision. And those are the smaller things that you're going to take, those steps you're going to take. So I would challenge you to dream as big as you can. Don't use timelines as a boundary. Sometimes people think, oh, that's not realistic, because typically you'll want to redo your vision board every year. There's just something about it, refreshing it. But I actually say, leave the vision board intact. Don't take it apart. Leave the images there and create a new one. Because by that time you will have expanded. And the vision board is going to continue to manifest. So just leave it, continue to focus on it. Yeah. So, but don't, like if you think, oh, I don't even know how this is ever going to happen in like 10 years, that's okay. Put that on your vision board.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely love what you're doing. I am so grateful that we've connected, and, I'm very sure, actually, so 100% sure that we're going to meet this year. So we were talking about an event. So I'm hoping to get to the States. I shouldn't say hope. I am going to get to the States this year. So I'm so excited. And I just want to say thank you so much for sharing your gifts with us, because I think, for no matter where we are in life, like this is a tool that we can use forever. And once you've learned it, once you can sort of understand it and, I guess sort of envelope all of those beautiful feelings, then you can continue to evolve it because we all change as human beings. So that's what I love about the vision board. You can change it every year as we continue to evolve as well.
100%. Yeah, I love that. Evolve, expand, and based on experiences. And, just because something you thought was going to be your vision, it doesn't mean that, that has to continue to be the end goal. And that's what I mean. It's not a goal. And the vision will continue to sort of move ahead as you continue to move ahead as well. Yeah. And you're never too old to create one. I had one lady, she was in her 80s, and she says, oh, I'm too old. She says, if I don't know what I want, she says this in a Dutch accent. If I don't know what I want by now, I'll never know, she said. And her name was Lucy. And I said, Lucy, just come and create a gratitude board then. And she says, all right, because her daughter and her granddaughters were going to do it with her in my studio. And then she got there and she noticed what her daughter was doing and her granddaughters, and they were giggling because then they talked about, maybe she says, well, maybe I like a man in my life, she says. And then she said, well, I'm not dead. She said, I think I'd like to travel. So she ended up with a full vision board, and, it's just beautiful. You're never too old to create one. And there's always tomorrow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'm excited. We're going to pop all the details of how everyone can get in touch with you. And I highly recommend that, you know, just having that guidance of creating that vision board, you know, with you, your beautiful online course, but also then you've got, you know, the other level of courses who can do it, or they can come to your studio and work with you as well. So thank you so much, beautiful, for being here today. I have just loved it so much.
Me too. Yeah, law of attraction. I get to attract people like you into my life, and I'm so blessed.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, make me cry. So I'm going to pop all of the details of where you can reach out to Debbi below. Make sure that if you want to be able to, you know, create a beautiful vision for your life, your business, go and check out her beautiful courses, reach out to her as well. And as I said, we'll pop all of the details below. Just, if you have loved this video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and remember to live life to the fullest every single day. Love and light to you all.